Our next speaker who's going to come up, Claire O'Rourke, is the campaign's director for Solar Citizens, and we've seen their setup down the back. In fact, I might get the Solar Citizens guys to have a bit of a wave. There they are, funky white and yellow t-shirts matching their Walkman. Claire's going to come up and she's going to talk about a similar disruption, if you like, the rooftop solar Kodak moment and what that might mean for us. Claire.
Okay. Hope you're all feeling charged up after that last presentation. Thanks for having me here tonight. So this is my first camera. My mum gave it to me and I used to use it and take all my photos when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I thought it was so super cool. And just like Chris was saying before, it's such a shame that the Kodak moment that used to represent, you know, innovation, technology and high quality now actually represents what happens when you kind of miss the boat of innovation. I thought this was a really telling quote from George Fisher, who was CEO, I think, of Kodak when it was kind of well into its decline. So, you know, they actually regarded the disruptive technology, digital photography, as the enemy that would come and kill them, rather than think about the opportunity that they would have if they got on board. So, when we think about a revolution in terms of solar and how it affects our country, we really think about the big stuff, right? The big solar farms, or we think to overseas and look at the big Tesla gigafactory, you know, all of these amazing innovations that are on a really huge scale. But what we really do see the revolution in Australia is right here, in the backyards, on the north-facing, usually, rooftops of Australian suburban homes. So let's have a look at how this has actually grown in just a really, really short period of time. So 7 years ago, there were 7,000 rooftop solar PV systems. 7,000. Now there's 1.3 million, thereabouts. 7,000, 7 years ago, to 1.3 million. It's just astonishing, that growth. And that growth is for 3 reasons. The first is, you know, the technology, panels has become cheaper, installations become more efficient. The second reason is that power prices have gone through the roof, and so people see that they can take back a bit of control over their power bills by putting the panels on the rooftop. And the third thing is actually government policy. And government policy has really helped foster an innovative, forward-thinking industry. So these people that have put solar on their rooftops are solar citizens. How many people here have solar? How many want it? Put all your hands up if you like it or want it. Go on. So all of you here are solar citizens. Hey. Meet Faye. Faye's a solar citizen, one of our most enthusiastic online supporters. Faye's 81, she's a pensioner. She lives on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. And this is what she had to say about a letter that Campbell Newman wrote back to her about her protests on the wind back of feed-in tariffs in the state. I'd like you to meet Tina. Tina's over in the blue cardigan. She's from Coolum on the Sunshine Coast again in Queensland, and she put solar on her rooftop to save on her power bills. She doesn't have a lot of money to spare. She's got monthly bills and got her responsibilities. And so last week she met with the leader of the Senate and legendary footballer, Palmer United Party's Glenn Lazarus. This is Peter Ewell. Peter, put your hand up. There's Peter here tonight. So a couple of weeks ago, Peter got up at 4 a.m. and went down to Canberra to hand over a petition of 25,000 signatures calling for the government to abandon its attempt to destroy the renewable energy target. And this is Jenny. I like Jenny, she's got red hair like me. But she put solar on her rooftop with her husband in her Adelaide home and managed to, got so many questions from her friends and connections on how to do it that has grown into a business that now employs 20 people. The Friday before last, she had a meeting about the renewable energy target with Christopher Pyne. So solar citizens are exercising what is called people power. People power is real. We're democratising our energy, but we're also getting people involved in the process that sets good policy. Not all of our politicians really understand the power of solar citizens or what the people that are actually putting solar on their rooftops. So this quote is from Tim Nicholls earlier this year, who's the State Treasurer in Queensland. He said that solar owners were latte sippers of the champagne set. I apologise that some of the text is too small, but this is what some solar citizens had to say in response. So solar citizens are really speaking out. Some politicians get it, but some politicians, just like Tim, don't. Here's someone else that doesn't really get it either. So Grant, who's the Managing Director of Origin Energy, last year said, solar's having a terrible impact on consumers. I think 1.3 million Australian families would disagree. But what's kind of troubling about this is that you see, it sounds a little bit like this, yeah? And some politicians will listen to people like Grant more than people like us. That's why Solar Citizens exists. That's why we've grown to 60,000 supporters in about 12 months. And what we're here to do is present politicians with a really clear choice. They can choose to actually be part of an energy revolution and go where their people are going anyway and help that happen faster. Or they can actually choose to put their heads in the sand and kind of, follow people that are the energy establishment. But I think we are going to win this, and that's what gives me hope. So politicians need to listen to solar citizens. Politicians' self-interest is obviously something that motivates some of them, maybe a lot of them. But if you think about the number of solar voters, the solar homeowners that are in the top 20 marginal seats in our country, if they vote for solar policy, they could not only change the outcome in those seats, they could change the outcome of an election and they could change the country. And smart politicians are listening to them. So we're here with 80+% of support for solar power in our country. We're seeing a democratisation of energy. We're seeing a re-energisation of people's participation in the political process on this issue. And I would encourage all of you to come with us, sign up. We've got a big action coming up that I can't talk about tonight, but I will talk to you about it tomorrow if you are on our mailing list. So please, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, sign up because everybody here can be a solar citizen too. Thanks.